Hello everybody and welcome to Montezuma. It's good to be back here today. Today I managed to squeeze in the time for a tour. Does it mean that we're going to be back to every week? No, it does not. But anyway, it's good to be back here today. Let me just explain. Today I, like I said, had the time. But going forward, it's going to be a while before we're, I think, back to a weekly sort of thing. But today it just looked like we could do it. Now, it's roughly 80 degrees. We're in Montezuma in the early fall. What will we see? I have no idea. Didn't really speak extensively with anybody inside in the visitor center. So I don't know if there's anything really out of the ordinary out there to be seen. What have I seen since I arrived? Seen or heard? I've seen at least a couple killdeer. I've seen a number of Canada geese, some gulls, which as usual I cannot identify. One, possibly two red-winged blackbirds. I did, what else? I heard a, what I believe was a greater yellowlegs. I've seen a couple of mallards, a number of pigeons, and that's really just about all I've seen. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. Haven't seen much else. I don't know what kind of a day we're going to have today. Now, I think last I saw, and I did check briefly this morning. There may be rain coming here this afternoon. We'll see. And today's tour is likely going to be shortened because, I still have a lot to do. And like I said, I'm squeezing this one in today. But it's good to be here today. Maybe a little bit rusty because I haven't done this in a while. But I hope we're able to have some fun anyway. From what I've seen, there's some cars here in the lot, maybe more since I arrived, but somehow I get the sense it's going to be a quiet day here in terms of visitors. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. On my way, I saw one red-tailed hawk. So that's the only red-tailed hawk I've seen today. I may have seen, or I know I saw another hawk or falcon of some sort, but I didn't get a good look at it. It was almost certainly, though, not a red-tailed hawk, the one that I had seen. Haven't had much time to do much bird watching since we last had a tour, and it's been about 2 months. And like I said, I don't, over the coming months, I have a feeling it's going to be hit or miss, a much greater emphasis on miss. In terms of having a tour on a given weekend. Some people may be surprised by that, but quite honestly, it doesn't surprise me at all. Years ago, I couldn't even, basically I was never available on a Saturday. Never. Week in, week out. Let's stop and listen for a second. Somebody just flew over. Who was that? It looked black. I don't know if it was a crow or not. Now, we've been up here at this time of year before, and you know, in the past, not the last couple years, but in prior years, we wouldn't come up here until late September. You might recall we would pretty much stay in Ithaca during the summer, and then eventually start to come up here late September. And in terms of migration sightings and things like that, we might not see all that much. But some people have been seeing fair numbers of ducks and things like that. I'm hearing somebody. At least I thought I was. That sounds like a frog. So anyway, my point is, I don't, well, I'm seeing now, like maybe, oh, what's that? This is through the windshield, so it'll be hard to see whatever it is we can see. Oh, that looks like, is that a harrier? Looks like a northern harrier. Okay, come on, autofocus. And now we can't see it. But that looked like a northern harrier to me. By the way, it was flying, and also it had a longer tail than you might see with, for instance, a red-tailed hawk. I am seeing small flocks of birds, or groupings of birds, I should say. I don't know if they're even flocks, flying together. And if I had to guess, given the time of year and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if they are red-winged blackbirds and possibly other species mixed in, but I don't know. Obviously, if you look around and compare to the last time we were here, things have browned up quite a bit. No surprise, given the time of year. There's a Canada goose. And to our right, do I see anything? No. Oh, who's that in there? Is that goose? Did it turn around? Doesn't look like it. It's something else. Well, maybe it is a goose. So my guess is, and I'm not getting a good look at any of these birds, but my guess is red-winged blackbirds. Just based on their behavior and some of the sounds I'm hearing. Oh, I just saw someone fly a lot closer. I just want to compare this behavior. You're seeing these flocks fly together to areas and do whatever they do. For red-winged blackbirds, it's quite a bit different than what you might see in the spring, where it's basically one here, one there, maybe one chasing after another one, because they're fairly territorial. See, here's a red-winged blackbird. Oops. A couple of them. Different sort of behavior this time of year. You know, now the focus is not at all on you know, mating and territorial concerns. Now they're going around. Maybe they're seeking food together. I don't know exactly the nature of the behavior, but it's certainly different than what we see in the spring. So this is definitely a northern harrier, likely a female or an immature one, and we saw the white band on the slightly longer tail. It's through the windshield, so we're not getting the very best look. It was interesting on my way here, you know, to see the various changes that have occurred over the past 2 months. You know, normally I'd be coming up every week, week after week after week, so changes would generally be very minor. And not that there was anything really major, you know, on my way. But, you know, I would see things here and there. It's like, oh, that's new. You know, they just built that, or whatever, you know. And again, certainly things have browned up quite a bit. I don't know what kind of a fall upstate New York will have in terms of leaf coloration. The last couple years have been disappointing in that regard, and I wouldn't bet money. I'm not saying anything, you know, I'm not saying one way or another, but I wouldn't bet on it being great this year either, although there's some signs of color here and there. Some of the usual locations, I should say. There's near my own home, there's you know, there's some trees that usually turn pretty early, and they've turned, but you know, even thinking of them, it's like they've already gone past their peak, the few trees that usually turn early. There's more water here in this channel than I recall. I may be wrong. I believe they've probably by now allowed water back into the main pool here. Remember, they drained it this summer. Okay, I'm going to set you down for a second. I just want to look over this pool over here just a little bit with binoculars, just to see if there's anything hiding. A few turtles in the distance. Okay, not any birds that I see, so we're going to keep going. We're hearing geep, geep, geep. I believe that's, you know, a frog. Oh, I see a common gallant, well actually maybe a couple common gallinors. Let's take a look at them. We haven't looked at one in a while, so let's take a look. Well, Come on. First, just so you know, they're right over here. Okay, and we'll try to take a look at them. We haven't, like I said, looked at one in a while. We haven't looked at anything really in 2 months. So, all right. So again, this is a common gallinule. That looks like an adult to me. And this one looks immature. Let's see if we can get a slightly better look. Cute. Looks like he's eating the duckweed. It's nice to see this one almost out of the water entirely, because you can see that they are in fact not ducks. We've got vegetation now getting in our way. Let me back up a little bit. I can't back up too much, I've got a car behind me. Oh, hadn't realized that. Now we've got two young right nearby. Immature. They're getting there in terms of coloration. Interestingly, and I don't know if this is, you know, I only know so much about common gallinules, but notice how the beak, or it's not really the bill, but the bill on the adult is not the bright red, reddish or orangish red that we might expect. So I wonder if that's, you know, maybe because we're out of the breeding season, but I really don't know. So don't take that as any kind of a fact or anything. But it's nice to see them. We're going to move on very shortly. Okay, let's keep moving. Time is short. I'm going to leave this camera in place. Let's go. Already wires are getting tangled. That I can't say I've missed. Hold on a second. A fair number of birds flying around out there. They seem to be swallows of some sort. Let me switch cameras. Like I said, I don't miss the wires. And now they've all kind of broken up. But they were flying around. I don't know what kind they were. If I had to guess, tree swallows, but I don't know. Other camera in, and stay with this one, I guess, for the moment. This camera, that is. Canada geese over here. A number of them, not huge numbers, but I took a quick look. What is that? Is that something? Maybe not. Another common gallinule right there. And more Canada geese. A lot of bugs coming in this car. Another gallinule or 2 or 3, but I'd have a hard time showing them to you. And they look like they were all immature. So it looks like a a fair number, not huge number, but hopefully I'm not getting mosquitoes in here, which may be. Anyway, of tree swallows flying around. So this was my concern. I'll tell you in a second. It's a duck of some sort. My concern was that, and it's always my concern when it comes to the draining of any of the pools. They drain this one, and at least as far as I can see, even if there's water there, all I can see is grass. And even if they let the water, oh, here. I knew this tree here would get in the way. Now I've lost sight of it. Anyway, even if they let water in, maybe there is no water there, but even if the water were to rise, a couple feet, we've got all the vegetation blocking our view. See something. I do see something. Not the closest look we've had, but 2 beautiful bald eagles. Having a hard time seeing them just because of the way everything is here, camera-wise. And they are mosquitoes that are coming into the car very rudely. Getting a little heat shimmer, unsurprisingly given the distance and the sunshine, and I'm going to have to put on bug spray, I have a feeling. something I don't want to do. And check up on you while I'm here. Oops. Good to see them. I saw one last night on my way home. I took a detour and happened to see one in a tree. Uh-oh. I think we might have a takeoff, but I'm not sure. Good to see them. I happen to notice to the naked eye that looks like just a dark spot there in the tree, and I thought, okay, maybe there's an eagle there, and as it turns out we have two. Yeah, see, I can only zoom in so much because of the lighting and the heat. Granted, it's not the hottest day, but I mean it's 80 degrees, so it's warm enough. And we won't watch them forever, but it's nice to see them. Anybody else to look at while we're here? Love bald eagles, and you know, when I was younger, we heard you know, how endangered they were, and not that they were in, at least as far as I know. I don't believe we had them in, you know, in my area. So I, you know, kind of thought maybe I would never see them. And, you know, to be able to see them myself, you know, as often as I have over the years, it's just special. But we're going to move on, I think, because, you know, we're not very, very close to them. If we were getting a super spectacular view, might stay and look for a while, but I think we should move on. Okay, let's go. Mosquitoes are kind of urging me along as well. So you can see as you're looking through the windshield there, I have yet to see any water in the main pool. I don't know if there is any water there, but the vegetation is so high, you know, I don't know if I'd be able to tell. Anyway, hold on, I see somebody in flight. Looks like looks like it is a harrier. It's in the distance, so I'm not going to bother trying to zoom in on it for you. And it may be the same harrier. I don't know. So, at least from here, in my car, looking out there, it's just grass. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Hey, butterfly. I see, any of the monarch butterflies, and I know that they're, they're migrating. And I always wish them a safe trip. So anyway, as I had said earlier, in the coming weeks and months, I don't know if it's unlikely we're going to have a tour every week. Very unlikely, and in fact, it's more likely we won't have a tour in a given week than we will. And just as things go, I mean, even when we do have one, they may be short or limited in one way or another. You never know. May not go to certain places. Even Sapsucker Woods, we may not go. Hey, monarch. Hold on 1 second. What's that? Okay, nothing. But I am glad to be here today. If you're wondering what you're missing, because I'm not showing everything to our left, you're not missing anything. Just more grass. All right, I know you don't believe me. So, grass. From here, that's all it looks like. There could be, for all I know, there's a lot of activity there below those grasses, but I'm just, you're looking that way, I'm looking around, I'm not seeing anything. Gulls here and there to our right, yes. I've never been good at gull identification, so... Harrier again, I think. Hold on. Not very close, but we'll try to look at it. Actually, it's not close at all, but... Where'd it go? Okay. It may pop right back up, but it's not very close, so we're going to keep moving. Just heard a duck. You know, I may be wrong. I think I'm hearing ducks out there, but they're not close and there's no way we can see them. Hearing something out there. Oh, okay, well, anyway, there's more water than when we left the place. So here are some in a clearing. And I'll look it over a little bit. Well, there's a car that might be in a better spot than we are. But you may recall that this is all pretty dry when we were last here. I see some kind of waterfowl. Hold on. Alright, let me see if I can get into a place where we might be able to see them from here. Let me show them to you quickly. I think we might be looking at green-winged teals, although not in breeding colors. But we'll take a closer look in a moment. Let's do that now. That is actually an American widgeon, right there. Not yet in breeding colors, but still beautiful. Oh, there's another. Cute. Harriers flew by, but with this camera in the cart, there it is. It's hard to get on camera. And I'm not going to be able to stay with it unless it comes back. Oh, two of them. Now, none of them. I'm pointing like so. The whole camera is angled very far forward, so it's hard for me to stay with them. So anyway, so we know there are at least two northern harriers around because we've seen two at once. Before we might have been seeing the same one over and over for all we knew. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I thought I might have seen... Oh! Hold on. I think we've got two harriers here in the... Yeah, there's one really close. Too close, actually. And let's get the other one if we can, maybe. Oh, come on. Oh, three. So I've got three harriers. There's one closer and much there. Now this is not ideal in the car. Best way is to be on a tripod, for me anyway, and you know, out on my feet rather than in the car. So I've got 3 in the air as I speak. I'm going to switch cameras. This car ahead of us were not there. Really in the way. Some of the more beautiful birds. They really are gorgeous. I love them. All right, we're going to move on because this Volkswagen's right in the way. I wonder if you're even paying attention, but I don't. Oh, hold on. Just spotted a great egret, easy to see given the white, and now this Honda is right in our way. Move it, Honda. Come on. Right there. We may get a look at it up ahead. All right, let's move along. Still see 2 northern harriers in the air. She's just kissing her dog. And I don't know if she's even looking at the birds. One of the harriers is now relative to us, behind us, and I don't know where the others are. So she was just kissing her dog, taking what would have been a great spot for us. Getting closer to that great egret, and there are a number of gulls on the water in the channel also. I wonder if I could turn around and get a better look at that egret. This will have to do. It's not perfect, but we'll take it. Hold on. See, I wouldn't mind a better background than this one. Just to help us see a little better. Come on, mosquitoes, lay off. I'll look around while you're looking at that beautiful egret. Again, this is a great egret. And I think we'll take a moment and look at the gulls that are in the water. Actually, you know what? This is just a beautiful bird. I'm going to lighten it up, see if that... see... Background is difficult for me. I guess I wouldn't mind a uniformly dark background. I'm gonna move forward a little bit. See if that helps me. Hold on a second, I've got a truck passing by. That might be better, maybe. Hold on. Gotta find my rig. And I might as well, while we're here, in a moment, give you a look at the gulls that are in the water. Okay, while you're looking down, Mr. Egret or Mrs. Egret, let's look at the gulls. Not sure what they are. Kind of cute. Hold on a second, something's bothering me here. Hold on, I gotta deal with something. Confines in the car are always too tight. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to move along in just a moment. Where am I? There we are. The egret isn't exactly cooperating in terms of getting a good look at it. It's facing away. So I think we're going to move on. And the mosquitoes are driving me crazy anyway. So there's definitely more water there in the main pool than there had been. But at least so far, there's not that much more visible water, visible from from Wildlife Drive, as far as I can tell. Now that may change in the coming months, just as maybe things settle. Who knows? I mean, the vegetation is, it's not a healthy green. It looks like it's browned up already. So, that's fine. Butterfly? There have been quite a few, actually, monarch butterflies. I haven't mentioned every one, but I've seen a number of them. Good to see them. I should show you to our left. Last we were here, this was all, this is all grown in, and it looks like they've mowed it down. No idea why, but they have. But, I remember it all being fairly long, and we would always, at least I would always hope to see something in there, maybe a bittern or something like that, or maybe something like a marsh wren. We would hear marsh wrens in this stretch, but I don't know for certain, but I suspect the marsh wrens have already moved on, or certainly stopped singing anyway. I haven't seen a great blue heron yet. I'm not saying they're not around, but I haven't seen one. I did see one yesterday at about the same time I saw the eagle. You get the sense that things are pretty quiet here today. You don't see a lot of birds in the air. We've seen a few harriers, but we haven't seen, we saw the eagles in a tree together, the two, but we haven't seen a lot of flights overhead. Ospreys might be gone by now. They do migrate, I believe. That is the lowest I've seen this little area. Really, throughout the summer there was always water, but without any spots where there is no water. And you can see there's some areas where the ground is poking through. So, and if I think about it, we haven't had, I think in upstate New York, all that much rain for some time. So it was we had a pretty fair amount of fair amount of rain in the spring, some into the summer. And not that I've been really following the weather here closely, but my own weather has been, you know, on the drier side, and some of the rivers around me are actually very low. Very low. Quite a few Canada geese in Benning's. No, that's not Benning's. I forgot. Maybe it is. Is it called Benning's Marsh? See, I'm getting rusty. I told you. Anyway, I'll open that window. I have a feeling there aren't quite as many mosquitoes here as there were back there. But there are quite a few Canada geese to our right. I'll show you some of them. I can't show them all to you because of vegetation in the way, but you can see what kind of numbers we're talking about. Who's that in the air? Is that a crow in the air? Looks like it. And another crow closer by in the air. Oops, sorry. You can see that crow just landed over there on the ground. There may be a couple, well, just one, I believe, on the ground. So it looks like it's just, I don't see anything other than Canada geese, really. I don't see any ducks, not from here anyway, and I don't see any, oh, there are two crows on the ground. I don't know if that makes a total of 3, or if that other one that I had seen in flight came back. That I don't know. I see 2 on the ground right now. And now there is a third coming in. So 3 on the ground. And as for the geese, that's all I see, plus the 3 crows on the ground. Nothing else there in the pool, in the marsh, whatever you want to call it. Okay, Benning's Marsh. That's right. Or just Benning, the Benning Marsh. I guess it must be after Walter E. Benning. I think I'll ask the lab for a favor. As you may recall, there's certain spots on the trails at Sapsucker that, you know, they look pretty wet, and they tend to get either puddles or muddy, more muddy and mucky than puddles of actual standing water. Unless it's a particularly wet spring. But maybe I should ask them to have something named like, you know, the Ferris muck or the Ferris puddle. And just leave the sign there. And, oh, there's a heron. Cool heron. Well, it's the only one we've seen today, so let's take a quick look through the grass. Could be worse. Could be better.